Yeah, I think a lot of it, as we don't meet 99% of our customers, we're not your traditional insurance agency because we don't rely upon walk-in traffic, brick and mortar. And so I've always said this, you have to listen to the tone of a person's voice to see what their facial expressions have going on. Like right now, you and I can see each other. And so I can read whether you're like, you're enjoying this conversation, or you're just like, hey, how can we get this over? It's super easy. Facial expressions just don't lie. So in this case, since a lot of what we have to do is listen to the tone of a person's voice, when you hear the pitch come up, you hear the pitch come down, you can learn how to navigate that conversation and what's important to them. So a lot of people that we deal with, first time home buyers, or they're buying a new home because of how we set up our referral sources. So you want to find what that emotion is, that triggering mechanism that you can help have them remember who you are and why you're there to help them. And to me, it's super easy because you're sitting there saying, hey, yeah, when you're looking to mentor, typically if someone comes from mentorship, the way of thinking before I really got mentorship was, oh, they got to have a problem, so this is why they need mentorship. Like, it was really archaic if you think about it. I'm like, the reason you need a mentor is if you don't know what the hell you're doing. And the reality is that's not the case. Mentorship should be going, from, it's obviously, as a child, we get mentored from our family and friends around us. As we go to school, it's supposed to be teachers and, eventually classmates, business partners, so on and so forth. So mentorship is something that I had made a huge mistake on at one point, and I had just stopped learning and stopped trying to soak in information from other people. I got tunnel vision, and I sat there and said, I know everything of, how to do it, where to do it. And so I stopped learning. And then eventually one day, which has led me to the journey that I continue to build out now through the Naked Agent, with American Option Insurance Group and, other projects that I'm working on. I realized mentorship is actually to help you learn from other people. You might sit there and see that, hey, here's the solution, but I can't quite finish the project that I'm working on. But through mentorship, they're able to take their experiences and insert that and plug that in. Even if they're not in the same industry, you can take your experiences in a completely different industry, plug it into what they're doing, and all of a sudden, like, those horse blinders are gone. So I sat there and I'm like, okay, how can we bring value that others aren't? And it was a couple bottles of wine. There was some music and a movie playing in the background. And all of a sudden I'm like, well, I could start interviewing people, but what would I call it? I'm like, well, I'm an insurance agent and I want to get behind the scenes and hear how they're doing, what they're doing, bring value to them, and then put it out on social media. I'm like, well, the naked agent. The naked part is who they are, what they do in the community. And we would never sit there and promote ourselves. We wouldn't be like, well, so tell me why, um, you know, Lauren, why do you send American Option business, and why are we so awesome? And why? It was literally never talking about what we did.
Mhm.
It was about who they were as people and what they did subsequently for a living. And so we sit there and, I put a team together because I realized, okay, this is going to be a little bit more than what I can have time and I can handle. So we started putting a team around this, and I'm like, all right, you know what? We're not going to be the best at this when we decide to take off. We were told, don't do it. Again, I was told, no, this isn't perfect yet. We like the idea of it, people around me, but don't do it. This is horrible. And I'm just like, it was my 40th birthday, I think it was. And I'm like, nope, put it out there. Put the first one out there. Don't care. And they're like, you sure? I'm like, don't care. Just put it out there.